Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the channel. Bill here. Hope you're having a great day. This is the Radian Ramjet and Afterburner for the Glock 17. Of course, it works with the 49 and the 47, but this is on my Mac Defense Glock 17. Now have about 500 rounds through this Radian Ramjet Afterburner, so I feel comfortable talking about it. Let's get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Radian Ramjet and Afterburner. Now, this is the 17th link. There have been a bunch of these videos on the 19th link. So whether you're getting it for the 19 or the 45, you can find a plethora of information about these. But these 17s haven't been out for too long now. They have been out for a little while now. We are in September, mid-September. I put this thing on layaway probably, I'm going to say at the beginning of August, maybe even a little bit before that. And I love you guys. I just am not trying to go into debt for gun reviews, right? So what I do is if there's something that I want, I will just put it on layaway if I can't just buy it outright. Something like this Radian Ramjet Afterburner, this was I want to say it was like $470. You can find them a lot cheaper than that, or maybe it was $370. I want to say it was $470. I mean, it was almost the price of another Glock. It was either $470 or $370. I'm sorry, I don't have that information, but you can find them cheaper. If you're interested in these, you can find them cheaper, but I was buying mine from where I put them on layaway. And so I had to pay full price for mine. And as you can see, the barrel and the comp are two separate pieces. That's where the name Ramjet and Afterburner come from. You're getting two pieces here. You're getting the barrel and the comp. They work for the 17, the 47, and the 49 length. And like I was saying, they've been out for a while, but I've not been able to find a lot of information about them just because they haven't been out for long enough that people have been putting a lot of rounds through them. So I was able to put 500 rounds through this one, and I have a really good feel for it. I've not cleaned it yet. I take that back. I did wipe the barrel with a barrel snake, with a brush snake, and that's it. And just keeping it oiled. So through 500 rounds, I've not had a single malfunction. The cool thing about this is it uses the barrel, and this comp uses this like taper lock. And so you only need this T15 bit right here, and you just back the screw out, pull it out, and then you just kind of have to pull this off. Sometimes it'll come right off. With a lot of shooting, you have to kind of work it off. But I've not taken mine off yet through 500 rounds, and I have a class coming up Sunday this weekend, and I will put another probably 500-600 rounds through it, and then I'll take it off and clean it. So I'm just waiting to see if I can get 1,000 rounds through it without any malfunctions. But these particular barrels are made to run 128. That's if you go on the website or on the box, it will tell you that they're made to work with 124 grain and up, right? So 124 grain, 124 plus P, 147 plus P. So that's what it's made for. It's made to run a little bit higher grain ammo. Now I know that they will run 115 because my buddy has a couple of these, the 19 length, and he runs 115 out of his. So they will run it, but they're made to work with the higher grain ammo because it's you know, trying to compensate. And so the higher the ammo, the more likely it is to do its job more effectively. Guys, I really, really like this. I shot this. Oh, real quick, let me talk about the length of it. In the box, it says that it will work with Glock 34 holsters. And while that is true, I was hearing people say that it's the same length as a Glock 34. I guess because the 19 with one of these on is the same length as a 17. So I was expecting it to be the same length, but you can see right there that from tip to tip with the X300 and then tip to tip with the 17, that it's not the same length as the 34. So if I put them together right here, you can see that that's just not the case. Let me go ahead and let's stack them. Let's go 34 on bottom, 17 on top. And it looks like it could be. But it's not. So just short. Now it's sliding everywhere. So I'll back them up. So just short, actually a lot short. So yeah, I've got them back to back. So yeah, not quite 34 length, but they tell you that you can use the 34 holsters to fit these. And that's mostly true in my experience. But you know, I'm running the Tenacor Malice Soul. Make sure this is cleared out. I'm running the Tenacor Malice Soul in mine. And the Malice Soul, they work with a 34, but they don't advertise that it works with a 34. So here's the Malice Soul. And as you can see, there is just a smidge hanging out. This is 17 length. So it does come out a little bit further. But if we put the 34 in there, you'll see that it comes out even more. So it's not quite the length of the 34, but it does if you've got a 34 holster. If you've got a 17 holster, it's gonna fit. You're just gonna have a little bit coming out like that. That didn't bother me through shooting hundreds of rounds. That was not an issue. Was never like so hot that I just couldn't handle it. Now, when I was shooting, first thing I did was, because of this competition class that I've got coming up, I was thinking I'm just gonna shoot this for the competition class. But I normally shoot the 34. So I was running these back to back. I would run the 17 with the Radian Ramjet Afterburner, and then I'd run the 34. Problem was this X300 is made for a Picatinny rail, and so it was sliding off ever so often. So I wasn't paying a lot of attention, but I could tell a good bit of reduction in recoil. I wouldn't even say a good bit. There was some noticeable reduction in recoil versus the 34. I think I was just a little bit distracted and didn't notice much. Then when I ran it against the Zev, the OZ9, there was even more noticeable reduction in recoil. So I thought, yep, I'm just gonna go ahead and run this 17 with the Radian Ramjet for this class. Like I'd made my mind up. I'm typically, if I'm doing a competition class, which this is, I would be running a 34, but all my holsters are made for the X300. So I'm running a 34 with the X300 typically. So that's kind of in my head, that's kind of what this has turned into, right? So that's what I am thinking now is I'm just going to run this. And then I start really shooting drills with this 17. And that's when I started to notice how good of a gun this 17 with the Radian Ramjet is. It recoils very softly, sure, but the 34, I have a DPM guide rod in all my guns. I have an X300 on the front of almost all my guns, and I've got a big dot. Now this is a 508T, and so it's not a big dot, but it's big enough, especially with the Ramjet Afterburner on it. And the dot's not leaving the window in this 508T. So most of my guns are already shooting pretty soft, and then I get this one and it's shooting really soft. So I'm very much so liking this so far. And then I start looking down at the timer and I'm seeing that without even trying, I'm getting 17 and 18 splits. And that's when I kind of put it together that what I'm getting with this Radian Ramjet and Afterburner is a soft shooting gun, sure, even though most of my guns are already pretty soft shooting. But what I'm really starting to notice is that I am getting a really, really fast return. Now, I didn't switch out the the DPM system's recoil or guide rod. It's still in there with the lightest spring. So I'm sure that that's helping as well. But I had 100% reliability. I was having a blast shooting this thing because, again, it is shooting very soft, but also I'm able to get splits without even trying that are noticeably faster than the splits that I normally get. I'm normally shooting a 0.2, and I'm getting 0.18s and 0.17s relatively easy. So that kind of made up my mind. All right, I'm going to go ahead and just run this gun in my class Sunday. Guys, it's very easy to work on, very easy to switch out with that T15 Torque 15 bit. Easy to clean. When I was cleaning this one, keeping it oiled, of course, but when I was cleaning it, I just took a bore snake and dropped it right through there and put some oil in the bore snake, ran it through a couple of times, good to go for another 500 rounds or so. So I'll do a follow-up and let you guys know, but shooting against my OZ9, which already shoots flat, it was noticeably flatter. Shooting against the 34, which is already shooting super flat, noticeably flatter. I had an X300 on both of them on the front. Now it's not going to, that's another thing I forgot to mention. It's not going to reduce, I cleaned it because I've got that class coming up. So I did clean it, but I was hoping I would get keep some of the gases off the front of the light. And that just was not the case, unfortunately, but it was, shooting a lot of the gases up. So, that's not going to keep gases off the front of your light. It was pretty gassy after the 500 rounds. So gassy that I felt obligated to cleaning it. But otherwise, you are getting really, really good performance out of this. To me, it's worth the I'm going to call it $500. It's worth the $500. Another cool thing I forgot to mention until I just saw it, you can see your brass right here. So as you are checking, if you want to just be able to look down and see the brass, yes, there's a loaded chamber indicator, I understand, but I don't feel that. I want to see brass. So you can look down in that hole right there and see brass. So that's another cool little feature of this barrel and comp. Overall, guys, the quality is outstanding. It looks like a part of the gun. They will be making them for the Gen 3s, Gen 4s, I've read. So when they make one for the Gen 3, I will be getting one for the OZ9. I like it, man, for the money, especially if you're thinking about getting a 34. I think this is a good alternative to just buying another gun, because you can then just switch out the barrels and have a 34 length, which again is not quite a 34 length, but you can have the performance of the 34 with reduced recoil and not have to buy the new gun. So I think that's a good option for anybody that might be interested, or if you've got a 17, 47, 49, and you're just wanting to lighten it up. It's been 100% reliable, and my buddies got two of them. They've been reliable. I shot a class one time where both of the guys had 45s with one of these on them, one of these in the 45s, the Glock 45s. And we shot, I want to say 500 rounds in that class, and neither one of them had a malfunction. So I know they're reliable. Radian is very, they have a reputation of being reliable and putting out good products, and this is no exception. So guys, if you have any questions, please leave them for me in the comments. If there's something that you want to see that with this, or something that you want me to compare it to, or any questions about this, leave those in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.